Streaming now. 5 seconds will be live on YouTube. And 5 seconds of silence. We'll start the intro music.
Okay.
Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, welcome to Blamestorming. I'm Marissa Smith. Dave Cyrus is not with us this week. He is still at Sundance. But I am here with AJ Mattioli.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So I feel like I should catch you guys up on what AJ and I were talking about. And so I was saying how, we've got awesome fans on Blamestorming. And thank you guys so much. And I'm just going to put this in there. If you enjoy the show, please write a review and rate us on iTunes. But so I was telling AJ how one of our fans, Leonard Franks, actually wrote my my online dating profile.
That's so fun.
Yeah, because so I had been getting. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, most of my Twitter are just the weird ass messages I get from dudes on dating apps, and so I kind of had it, and I was just like 2018. I'm done. I got to leave this profile behind. I'm trying to find somebody. Obviously, my words are not helping me. And so, I kind of threw it out to the universe on my Facebook page. And I was just like, hey, guys, pimp my profile. And, well, Leonard had a great one. So I used Leonard's profile, and I totally thought it was working. I got 18 days into the year without, or maybe 20, but into the year without having one weird ass message. No, hey, are you into pegging? No,
that second date kind of questions.
Hey, are you into back shots? None of this. Hey, I want to be your sugar daddy stuff. I was just like, oh my God, these guys are asking what I'm interested in and what I like to do for fun.
Showing me basic human decency.
I was just oh my God, this profile is giving me respect. And then it happened. And I was accused of being a trans woman because I changed my hair, which doesn't mean I'm trans. It means I'm a black woman, and that's what we do. Hashtag Black Girl Magic. It's just I don't. It's just well, you can't have what did he said? Culturally, ethnically nappy hair, and then have perfectly straight European hair. It's you can when you have a 360, bitch.
Well, I mean, his whole thing was so bizarre. It was the second or third thing he asked you was are you trans? He was like, are you trans? I don't even know how he phrased it. Did he say tranny? Did he say the slur?
No, it was literally the second thing he said. Hey, are you 100% biologically a woman? And so then
is this his normal
conversation?
Because it wasn't until a couple more sentences that he got onto the whole hair question.
Right.
It seemed apparently one of his friends dated some metal woman who happened to be trans. And this
got a blowjob.
Got a blowjob, and I found out, and oh my God, God forbid you just enjoy yourself. He kind of had a crying game moment and freaked out.
And then I was just I'm not really sure why you're telling me who your friends get blowjobs from.
Very bizarre. I don't need to blowjobs. Are you trans? Those are kind of questions that are not.
It's
Tinder appropriate.
It's not first message. This is not first message material. And then I wouldn't answer him. And so then he started getting like angry because
Yeah.
like I wouldn't answer him. It's just
You
like
didn't show him the respect that white boy deserved.
it's just like, and so then like I think like I ended up cutting off one of his messages. She's like, well, I'm just being blunt because like I need to know if somebody can handle the bluntness, and you still haven't answered my question. And I was like, you're not being blunt. If I asked you if you were born with a dick, would you think that I was being blunt or rude? He's like, probably rude. He's like, are you implying that I'm rude, miss? I'm like, no, you are rude. Like, it's like
And it's like the ultimate first sign of gaslighting. Like, someone says something rude. Like, are you implying that I'm rude? Like, yeah. Like, don't gaslight me. Don't try to change the subject and say that I'm name calling you, 'cause that's where that was gonna go. You know?
right. And it was just like, no, I'm not implying it. You are.
Yeah, you're rude. Like, you're rude. Like,
It's just-
the idea that like people can just ask anybody like what's in between their legs at this point is just so. It's so bizarre.
yeah.
And I will say some straight men have been surprising me with trans women. I actually, I got my first boyfriend when I was in 7th grade. Is randomly on my Facebook, and he wrote me a message on Facebook and was like, "Hey, can you call me?" And it was like probably like 11:30 or like midnight. And he's not in New York, he's in Florida, so that's like really late, when you're not in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And I just like wrote him back. I'm like, yeah, this is AJ. And he was like, yeah, I'm not drunk. He's like, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, all right, well, this is freaking weird, but like, all right, like whatever. So I called him, and he had just gotten out of date, and he was a little drunk, and he found out that this one was trans, and he was like, he asked me like, does that make him a little bit gay? And I was like, no, if anything makes you a little bit gay, it's the fact that you dated me. I was like, 'cause I identify as a guy. I'm like, but either way, no. I'm like, it's, she's a woman, regardless if you were able to tell, right away, or if you had to be told, regardless, like, she's a woman, it doesn't make you gay. It just means that you enjoy the company of women. So, and I was kind of surprised because he was, a Bayside boy. Bayside, New York is very Republican. And then he moved to Florida.
Right.
And I know from his Facebook he's like really
Hanging
into.
chads.
Yeah, and he's like really into cars, and I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
so I was, not expecting him to, he used some language that wasn't great, which I just like, it's just a learning curve. It's like, okay, well, it's not. It's not trans. Trans isn't the other. It's trans and cis people. It's not normal and trans. It's trans and cis. And like so, I was kind of amazed by that. So like, there is some sort of hope. But I think with these dating apps, like people just really have no freaking filter whatsoever. Like no basic respect. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they get the keyboard balls. Like, there was this one guy, like, he was kind of cute, and I was, like, chatting. This is, like, over the weekend. And he's like, oh, like, are you, like, are you being low-key tonight, or are you partying? And I'm like, oh, I'm being low-key. He's like, yeah, me too. I'm lying in bed playing with myself. I'm just like,
Yeah,
like,
that's
how does this
fine.
go from, like, are you, like, hanging out, like, or are you, like,
Yeah, like nobody wants to know you're masturbating. Like nobody needs to
it's
know
like,
that.
I didn't
Like,
answer.
it might be hot, like when you're dating someone, like then maybe like when that's cool. But like for the most part, like if someone doesn't ask you,
It's like,
there's
why are you
no
telling me this?
there's no reason.
It's
There's
like
no
I
reason.
don't like it's beyond. It is fucking beyond. And I don't know.
And I would say like it's not it's definitely not at that level when you date women, but it's definitely I know dating cis women as a trans guy, and I don't exclusively date cis women. It's just kind of who I've dated. Um, they are kind of brutal. Late as late as well, where I'm getting a lot of like, oh, I totally thought you were just a lesbian, or I totally thought you were like a real guy. And I'm like, wow, we haven't. Even in New York, we haven't learned like basic fucking ways to not hurt people's feelings. Like, you don't have to be attracted to me. I'm fine with you not being attracted to me. But like, I don't need to know it's because you thought I was a real boy. Like, just have some common decency. It's not difficult. Like,
Yeah.
it's getting, I think, worse. And I think, you know, Yeah, I don't know why it's getting worse.
Because everybody wants to be anti-PC. We don't live in PC culture anymore. So, like, which just to me just means like when someone's being an asshole, you can just fucking skew them because
Yeah.
you don't want PC culture. Here you go. Like,
There you go.
liberals always had these ideas of how stupid these people have always been,
Yep.
but we've just been too courteous and had civility to not tell them that they were inbred pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Now you can tell them, I hope you OD on your meth.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't want my tax money going to your narcon.
Yeah,
Like-
no, exactly. Yeah, it's really. I always find it funny when the people that say things to me like, "Why should my tax dollars go to pay for your testosterone or your transitioning?" And I'm always like, looking at them as they're downing their fourth hamburger, smoking their fifth cigarette in a row, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to pay for your heart attack, and I'm gonna have to pay for your lung cancer. So like, can't we just live in a society and
It's
help
like,
each
can't
other?
you just live?
Like, can't we just like not suck and help each other? Like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get what people's, but like, again, I think it goes down to education. I think that we don't actually know. I don't think people in society know where money goes. I think that even though they have that information in front of them, they don't know how to register it. This idea of being following science and being smarter and being educated is somehow becoming a downfall.
I
Is
don't know
scary.
that it's necessarily a downfall. I feel like the problem is no one is using this information. It's like
Fair.
we have more knowledge at our fingertips at any given time than we've ever had in human history.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
we're
almost
using it to watch, like-
100% sure that we are dumber than we have ever been
Yeah.
since
Well,
we
I
were
think-
literate.
I think like we have all this information at our fingertips and we have the answer to everything, but then we choose to, because of the way we feel the country is going right now. I know I utilize the internet to zone out, so I'm not researching, chemistry or researching, geography and figuring out, different things. I'm literally watching dog and cat videos and things like that. And I know that as
No one
things-
can begrudge you a doggy video.
Yeah,
I mean-
really. And I think that for me, media definitely, when I'm able to take media wise, definitely reflects what's going on in my life personally. Like I know, like when I was with someone for a very long time, for like 13 years, and when we broke up, I was unable to watch any kind of horror movies. It just affected me in such a way that for days I would be upset, especially if it was a human torture kind of movie.
I can't watch that, and I haven't been with anyone longer than 5 minutes.
But I think how things affect, like right now with the political climate and how women are being treated. I got through a half an episode of *Handmaid's Tale* and was like, nope, can't watch it. Like it's, I think
I've
that,
watched that, and it just gets me so angry.
Yeah, I can't-
Like
I
it's
can't
just
do
like
it.
I just get angry, and then I see the parallels of what's happening now, and then I
mhm.
get more angry. But I also want to watch it because then I also feel like maybe you can you'll smell the smoke faster.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I even last night I was rewatching the last season of *Orange Is the New Black*.
Yeah.
And that's a show that like shows prison in a relatively nice and gentle kind of way, even in its most violent seasons. And even watching that and watching how it was written for cops, the way the cops are talking to, the prisoners and stuff. Like even just watching that, I went into this place of because 2019 has hit me like like a brick wall. I was watching that and like I went into this spiral of like, oh my god, like there's kids in these prisons that are like 17 that are being treated and beaten like this, and much worse than this. So I think for me, like, it definitely, the time frame that you're doing things, the time frame that is happening in the world, definitely affects what kind of media I'm able to watch. So I think that I've definitely, has
Like
an
I
effect.
can't and this has been for years, not just like this year, but I can't watch any of those cops killing black people videos. I
We've
can't.
also become so descent. The fact that we can just literally look up
And
Like,
watch someone being
we
murdered.
could probably. I mean, I haven't tried it, but you could probably type into like YouTube like cops killing black kids and like get a plethora of videos.
Yeah.
I don't even like. I normally don't like World Star videos. I will say though there was one though the other day where, this white stepdad from like some hobo town was talking down to his white stepkid and said, "Oh, and you're also hanging out with this N word."
Right.
And that's what kind of made the white kid snap, and like he just like knocks his fucking stepdad out. And that was the only World Star videos I really liked. For the most part, I think like watching this violence and being able to watch people beat each other and people get killed by cops and watching all that, we've become so desensitized. Whereas like when I was a kid, I remember the videos. It was called The Faces of Death.
Yeah, I
Remember
remember
that?
those. Yeah.
And like that was like there was two of them.
You couldn't have them in
You
Blockbuster.
couldn't have them in Blockbuster. No, like they were too violent. Like no one should be watching that. Nobody should be renting it. And the fact that like at least back then you had to go and search out. You had to go and find it and search it out. Whereas now it's like, yeah, I think that we should be made aware so we know of the disgusting things that are happening. But there's also like you watch it so much, like you stop caring. It sucks. It's terrible, but it's true. It's like school shootings. Like there was like 3 this week, and I can't even
Yeah.
tell you the names of the schools. Like
No.
it's insane. Like that's insane. We are so desensitized. It's a lot.
When it comes to these violent videos, like, where do you feel the fault lies? The person creating the content or the person consuming the content? And I ask this because like years and years ago when I was working at Blockbuster, one of my coworkers ordered this German necrophiliac porn.
Okay.
But then another one of my coworkers borrowed it from him after he had told him all about it. It's just like, oh, there's skull fucking, there's
It's
dead,
like, yeah, snuff films. Yeah.
and so I always, after that moment, had like a weird feeling about the both of them, and I couldn't figure out. Like, I couldn't figure out which one I thought was worse. And in a sense, I thought that the second one was worse because the first one ordered it out of curiosity. And he was just like, oh, what is this about? And then he ordered it and he watched it. And then he told the second one, oh, yeah, there's dead people and there's skull fucking dead people. And the second one's like, hey, can I borrow that? And so, like, and for me, I almost feel like if there was not the consumer there, there wouldn't be the person creating the content because it would be unconsumable.
That's
But
true.
I also feel like they're both sick fucks, but I can't figure out which one is the sicker
I
fuck.
mean, it's hard to like really tell because I mean, if you like, I have people have morbid curiosity. So like, you think about like that video, 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
I've
Right?
never seen it.
Oh my god, I don't know how you like. I needed to see it. Like I didn't want to see it. Like I was like, oh, I know what it is, but like for me, it was like everybody else has seen it. Now I know what it's about, and I have to see it. Like, and it was disgusting, and it was terrible, and I wish I never did. But like, there was that curiosity, and that's why there was millions of reaction videos, and that disgusting thing went viral. Because I think people have. So I mean, I don't know where. I don't know where it lies. I think when you're dealing with real stuff, like murders and stuff, I think it lies on the platforms that's being played. Um, I think that stuff is all necessary. I think that we need to have some sort of a way to get that information, but I don't think it should be as accessible. I think that but that's the other double-edged sword though, because sometimes people
It's
the only
censorship.
way it's censorship, and sometimes the only way that we're gonna hear about it is if a video gets uploaded to the internet before cops see it. This way, cops can't hide it. So there is that. There is the guy that filmed Everett Gardner getting shot is right now in solitary confinement for some like petty bullshit, like selling weed or something like that.
Right.
And he's gonna rot for the rest of his life in solitary confinement for filming that, which was a necessary thing to be filmed. So it's like if we had, there's so many different aspects of it. Like if we had an honest police force, where people could take their videos and that video is actually going to be used for justice and going to be seen, then I think it's very important. Right now, the only way that those are being paid attention to is sadly through viral videos, which is making the general public desensitized.
Right.
I will say the ones that really, I think there's no reason for, and the people with the cameras are the ones that are responsible for the ones that are like just drunk people beating each other up, or like poor people beating
Like
each
the
other
bum
up.
fights
The
and
bum
stuff
fight,
like that. That
you know,
is
even-
so disgusting.
Even just like, I mean, like, I know, like, you can convince, people on meth to do a lot of things, and it's very easy to convince them that someone wants to fight them, and utilizing someone's drug addiction, and filming them and watching them fight, so you can get some views is, I think kind of disgusting on both the content creator and the consumer. I think that they can be equally disgusting on that
Yeah.
one, because there's nothing, unless you're watching it to figure out where and when they could have said something and where things went wrong. Unless you're watching it for something like that, then there's why are you watching it? Why are you giving these people views? Why are you making them money?
Right.
Because it happens mostly predominantly in like shitty neighborhoods, in neighborhoods that don't have money for schooling, that don't property tax wise, the neighborhoods are never going to be better. And it's just it's also
It's predatory.
it's predatorial. Yeah, it's very, I don't like it. It for me it's both are disgusting, and and we should start.
That's like the poor version of Me Too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So I think it's definitely based on the content creator, and when it comes to that, yeah, I think and consumers should stop consuming that this way. It stops getting made, because there's no purpose. Nothing's getting learned from
There's
that.
no artistic value. There's no, oh, well, like I learned this life lesson from watching this. Like I should not be a meth bum. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
it's just, it's mean spirited. It's manipulative.
And the people in the videos aren't even the ones making the money, and so it's like,
no.
and that's what's like real. Like, if I'm doing something stupid at the bar and you film me and it goes viral, I better be making money off of that. So the idea of like these people being in the shittiest part of their lives and having such a down moment, and then being exploited, and then not even being willing to share the money from that exploitation is
Right.
just salt in the wound.
And it's not even like, oh, well, they film this person in this low point in their life, and then they show like, well, they came to light after they realized they had all these millions of views of people watching them act like a jackass. So then they went to like AA or NA or whatever and changed their life around. It's not any of that. It's just basically like, look what I can make these two bums do for $5.
Yeah, it's so. And the thing with the Bump series, when that was like a big thing, they weren't even paying them money. They were like giving them like a bottle of Jack Daniels to like beat the shit out of each other. Like, cause I mean, like, when push comes to shove, we will, boxing is legal. Like we do literally pay people to beat the shit out of each other, which is so bizarre to me. But hey, it's a sport, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, this is obviously this exploitation, and because they're not even getting paid for any of this. It's like a bottle of Jack, which is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, comics, they only give us like a beer. Like,
Oh my god, oh my god, the amount of comics I've blocked on my Facebook. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
they're nuts. They're nuts.
They're
Like
nuts.
we're like comics are nuts. We are nuts.
I literally, there's like some comic out in Long Island whose name I won't say, but like the fact that I know some low life loser from Long Island's name because I've had to block him, because I can like even like I was quoting on someone's page and I was like, I can't wait for your friend blah 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 to come and give me some shit, and like literally 2 seconds later he was like, oh, I see Adrian's thinking about me, and I was like, yeah, I was just waiting for your unnecessary devil's
Is he
advocate
rather
opinion.
portly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something with Long Island
Yeah.
white comedian.
Yeah. Very. He's very large.
Yes, he
Um,
is, yes.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like Buzz from Home Alone. He looks like the older brother, but just like from Home Alone, but just like older and bigger. Like, this-
Yeah. Now I know who you're talking about.
um,
I mean, I thought that's who it was, but
I think anytime you could use Buzz from Home Alone as a focal reference.
you
point
have to
is
say
good.
Buzz from Home Alone because my initial go-to is always Buzz from Weird Science.
Mm,
That's my
okay.
go-to Buzz.
Okay.
But when you say Buzz from Home Alone, then I'm like putty face, like
Total putty face.
Like,
totally.
putty face, different Buzz. Because like Buzz from Weird Science was like more like crew cut, got kicked out of the military, dude.
Yeah.
But like the Home Alone Buzz is total putty face, and you're just
Right.
like, oh, okay, I know.
Oh my god. I was just thinking Buzz, but it's actually Biff. I was thinking about Biff.
Biff,
From,
okay,
oh my god, Back to the Future.
yes,
It's all that douchebag white guy face.
yeah.
Oh man, white guy face. I think that should
Then
be like the
like
new,
which one is the one from like Karate Kid? Because that's the non-fat one. That's like the rich douchey white guy face.
Oh my god. The guy that played Daniel's son?
No,
like
the
Ralph
one
Macchio?
the one that was trying to beat up Danielson.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The blonde guy that
Oh,
was like he was so blonde.
he was so blonde. Like he was like full blown Aryan race blonde.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is like rich white guy
Like
a
Zach
douchebag
like
face.
Zach Morris face too.
Zach Morris, I felt like didn't seem as douchey.
You have to look up Zach Morris's trash. I recommend this. I have no affiliation with this YouTube channel at all. I'm simply saying that it is amazing. They essentially make like 45-second versions of the show about how shitty Zach Morris is. He's like, hey, remember that? It's like, remember that time he used that girl in the wheelchair to get a dance trophy? And then they just showed like bits of the episode of him being a terrible person. Like he tries to sell Lisa Turtle once. Like for like essentially like make out, but like so prostitution. He was essentially a pimp in one episode. Yeah.
Oh, so like you mean like 16 Candles?
I would have paid good money for Lisa Turtle though. I definitely had a thing for her. I was like, oh, you know what? I think my type of woman has always been. It doesn't matter, race or you just have to be very high maintenance. Like Lisa Turtle was like super high maintenance,
Yeah.
and like that is definitely my type. So it's like race has nothing to do with it, like ethnicity nothing. I'm like you just have to like cry if your nail breaks, and then I am putty in your hands.
It's just like I can get your nails done.
I'm like, but I need you to like make me pay for it and then cry when it cracks. Like I need full high maintenance.
It's
yeah.
like all the drama.
Yeah, I need all the drama all day. I think
Yeah.
that I'm probably gonna just wind up with a drag queen. Actually, it's just gonna be full drama all day.
Probably. Probably. My quintessential guy is Keanu Reeves.
Oh, and he's so nice in real life.
But that's like, yeah, exactly. It's like there's something that like so like dark and mysterious, but then like it's like he's trying to like pay for an eternity of bad luck with good deeds and like
You're like, what did he do that he's so nice now?
Yeah, it's just like back in like 12, 16, he was a real dick, and now he knows the way of the Buddha.
Now,
like,
did you have a crush on him from the beginning, like from Bill and Ted?
I had a crush on him before Bill and Ted. I will tell you
Whoa.
right now.
Okay.
I fell in love with Keanu Reeves when I was like 8 years old with a little movie called, I believe it's called Toy Soldiers, and he's in it. It's like early 80s. I want to say it might be like 83, 84.
Okay.
And it's with a little Drew Barrymore.
Ooh, okay.
Like she's like not that much older than E.T.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, okay. Yeah, she's a baby. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
she's not that much older than like us. Like really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the first time I saw that, and I was just like, he's cute. And then like I started seeing him in all the after school specials.
Oh my
Because like
God,
if you were like
amazing.
remember back in the day and all those like Friday after school specials, he was like always like the dark brooding guy. And it was just like, I always just like, oh, I'd see him for like a split second in the background of a commercial, and I would run home on a Friday because I'm just like, oh, he's going to be in this. And he would have like 4 lines, and I'm just like, I'm going to marry him. And like, and so then it was like, even before Bill and Ted, like the big like splash was the Paula Abdul video, was that song like, hush hush lover lover come to me,
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so like he is the one that is drag racing, that she drops the handkerchief on that goes off the cliff.
Oh shit!
That's him.
I'm a YouTuber because my sister and me are a huge Paul Abdul fan. So
He's in that one. And then I'd say it was like a couple of years after that, then he was in Bill and Ted.
okay.
But like Point Break, I was just like, where the hell have you guys been? I've always been here. Like, I've been Keanu trained forever.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's like, I remember I was out in California, and I was with my friends. We went to some like rando little restaurant, and it was in like an old firehouse.
Okay.
And so like they're seating us. There's like no like table, so we're sitting at the bar eating. And I'm sitting and I'm just looking around. And my friends are like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "This place feels so familiar, and I don't understand why." And I asked the bartender, I'm like, "Do you have one of these in New York?" They're like, "No." Like, this feels so familiar. And they were like, "Oh, you probably remember it from the movie." And I'm like, "What movie?" And they're like, "Speed." And I'm like,
Oh shit.
"Where did he sit?" And they're like, "You're sitting in a seat." I'm like, "Get out of here." And so they're like, "No, look underneath it. He signed it." And I look underneath it, and it was just like Kay Reeves. I'm like, "Oh my God, my ass is in the same chair." Like,
That's
like,
amazing.
I
That's
was just like,
amazing.
oh my, like, I literally keep, and throughout the course of my life, I've missed him by as like little as 10 minutes going somewhere.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's just
That's
kind
probably
of,
for the better.
it's, I don't think I'd be able to talk to him. I think I literally would faint.
No. I feel like that with Nev Campbell.
Okay.
Like Nev Campbell for me has always been like, she was like my, like I was like one of the first 2 people that like made me realize like, oh, I definitely like women. Like, this is not how most people think about women. Like most quote unquote girls think about women. Yeah, well, like I think like if I met her, I wouldn't be able to talk. It would be. I don't know if I met the first girl. It would be such. It's such an obscure reference. It's the girl who in Sister Act was becoming a nun, who was like the main singer, the white skinny girl with red hair.
Oh my God, I've got a story for you about that when we get off air.
If she would just
Was she in Higher Learning?
I honestly have no. All I know is I was young, and I would make my mom like rewind whenever she was singing.
I think that she was in a Higher Learning also.
Okay.
And when we get off, like I can't talk about it on air, but like I have story about that. But yes,
So if I met, yeah, if I met
I've
either of them.
had this character cross my life and research before.
Okay.
Like
Such a random character too. Okay.
exactly, and it's just like, yeah, I was like,
I mean, I think I love when it's like really obscure. Like for my sister, when she realized that like, oh, like I guess like especially when she realized she liked boys. I mean, really, like when she like had her first Hollywood crush was, in it's a Kevin Costner movie. If you build it, Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, yeah.
And at the end, he meets his father, and he just like plays catch with his father for like it's like maybe a minute of the film.
Yeah.
And that man is so good looking that my sister was like, "This is like." She tried to get like pictures of him, and it was like before the internet was a thing. I'm like, he's not even he's
Famous.
He's not famous in any way whatsoever. And like that was my sister's like sexual coming of age. Like, oh,
Like my first crush like was I mean, even younger than Keanu. My mom will say that it was like when I was 3 years old, and it was Christopher Reeves as Superman.
Okay.
And so, like, my mom said that I would make her, like, play Superman, get pictures of Superman, like, take me to all the Superman movies. And so, like, finally, my mom was just like, why do you like Superman so much? And, like, my mom thought it was going to be like, oh, because he's so nice, or he saves the world, or he's so strong. And literally, I turned to my mom and I said, because he's got this little curl right here, and it's cute. And my mom is just
Oh my
like,
God.
I knew that you were going to have problems with men your entire life. Like, you're just going to be, it's like, I'm just going to listen to an endless, like, thing of, oh, but I like Danny, but I like Paul, but I like like it's
Look how
just like,
cute his curls
is
are.
it because it was just like the only thing you liked about him was his curl. It wasn't even like, oh, he had
Saving.
superhuman strength, he's faster than a speeding bullet. It's
Yeah.
the only thing was his little
He's got a
curl.
little curl. He's
Like,
saving the world, but he's got a curl.
he's got a little curl. It's cute with this little curl.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's what makes us realize that we like things.
It's
like people.
I still date guys with stupid little curls in the front forehead. Like, it's like.
That's amazing.
It's like, and like every once in a while, I'll catch myself because like I'll be like talking to some guy and I'm like, oh, he's so cute, but he's dumb as shit. And then I'm looking at him like, but he's so cute, and I'm like, God damn it, he's got that curl. That's my kryptonite. Like.
You're just like shaving guys' heads. Like I need to get to know you.
It's
You
just like
shave the curl.
literally just like put my fingers through his hair and put that curl up so I can't see it on his forehead. It's like, oh, that center curl just really centers his whole face. He's so symmetrical.
Oh my
Like,
God. So that's your type. Symmetrical is your type. That's your thing. With a curl.
the golden ratio is my type.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like if your face is mathematically symmetrical, holla at ya, girl.
Holla, holla. Oh
It's
my
like
God.
I'm probably doing the math in my head too. It's just like, oh my God, those eyes are the perfect centimeters apart.
I could just
Like-
split them and slap them together.
It's just like, oh my God. Yes, you're hot because of math.
I don't think I've ever said that before. I don't think I've ever thought that. I think I always like it when people are like, oh, well, like, you should really be dating people for their personality. I'm like, when was the last time you went to like a bar and was like, yo, that
What's your
girl- What's
personality?
your personality like? What? That's like, I feel like it's essentially what you're asking when you say, what's your sign? Which is even more creepy. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, my sign
It's like, what are you, the
is-
Zodiac killer? It's like
I can't with people that are always talking about Mercury being in retrograde.
retrograde.
I'm like, I can't date
It's
you.
like, bitch, it's always in retrograde.
I'm like, I can't date women. Like, I can't. Like, now you're gonna blame
But that seems high maintenance to me.
No, but that's like high maintenance, but like not based on like reality. It's like, it's like
That's spiritual high maintenance.
It's like, yeah, like I don't want like you to talk about like religion or like the stars aligning. Like I just want you to cry over like your nails getting done or like, oh, my roots are showing. Like I need that. I need that. I need to know like you're kind of ashamed to introduce me to your parents. Like I need that kind of high maintenance, and not because I'm trans, just because I'm just not in the same class as you. I'm down for that.
It's just like, oh my God, that plot is so last season. My God.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
I dated a girl. Oh my God, she I'm talking 20 years ago, but she was like being so mean to me, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bounce, I'm gonna leave, and she was like, oh, I'm shaking in my Maddens, and I gotta be honest, as snotty as that comment was, I was like, I want to marry you. Oh, I'm shaking in my Maddens. I was like, that's tasty for some reason. I'm so close to leaving you, but damn it.
my ex was a actuary. So, like, I used to ask him, like, the probabilities of things. So I'd be like, oh, like, what's the probability of this scaffolding falling down on me while I'm walking underneath this building? And he would literally have it. Like,
Wow.
it was just like, oh, what's the probability of, like you being hit by, like, some, like, random piece of aircraft while, like,
The
it's...
shit that keeps me up at night. Okay.
But like he would literally have the mathematical statistics for it,
my
and like
God.
that I thought was hot as fuck.
That's pretty fun.
And so like I asked him like one thing, and then I just like, and I just was mad that like I didn't figure it out on my own, but I was just like, what's the probability of you being born, like of you dying on your birthday? Which I thought was going to be like this like insane mathematical problem. And he's like, 1 in 364. And I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
It's like, there's like,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
and
that's
I'm like, what? And he's just like, well, because, like, you know, at any given day, of like, you know, your birthday, and then there's every other day. So, like, oh no, 1 in 365. He's just like, you have one chance in 365 chances of dying on your birthday. And I'm like, I could have done that myself.
You know, it's really hard to keep you happy, I guess. It's like, like, what do you want him to, like, lie to you? But, like, I don't know. What do you think it is?
It's like, I want it to be a harder math problem. Like,
All right, I'm gonna give him the. This is on you. If that relationship failed, I'm gonna blame you on that one. I'm gonna say he's got to get out of jail free card if you're getting upset by the truth and math.
no, it failed because he got poison ivy with his bro. But that's
like
an
because they were camping together. Like,
yes.
Okay.
Like Brokeback Mountain, yes.
I'm like, wait, so you got mad? Okay, yeah, that's
They were fishing
they were
because you get poison ivy in your ass fishing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say it, folks, so you know it's.
I can say it. That shit's gay.
Yeah, it's gay. I mean, I know everybody's a little bit gay, but that is very gay.
But like, yeah, just like let me know. Like, let me know. Like, if you know,
Like,
okay.
even if this is your thing, like
when
you don't.
everyone talks about Brokeback Mountain like it's this romantic movie, and I'm the only one. And as a gay person, I'm still like, oh, Michelle Williams. Bitch didn't do nothing. She was just waiting there with the kids, cleaning dishes, and like this dude's like even after like she was like, I'm gonna stay with you. Like that's a nice lady right there. She was like, maybe I think once she was like, what are you doing? Which I would ask as well if I was married and someone was making out with somebody else. I'd be like, what you doing over there? Yeah, I think she got a bad rap in that. Anne Hathaway though, she can go fuck herself in that movie.
I don't know. I've been caught up in this Brokeback situation more than once. So like the first time I was in college, and my boyfriend at the time went to take one of my hallmates back home 'cause she lived like maybe 2 hours away, and her brother got in a car accident. She didn't have a car, and he's like, "Oh, I'll drive you back home so like you can go to the hospital." And so like he ended up staying like the whole weekend, but he was supposed to come back. But like I ended up finding out while he was doing that, his boyfriend told me that like he thought that it was like so cool that I was like so like open-minded and like you know like so cool. I'm like, what are you open-minded about? What are you
About what?
what are you
Yeah.
talking about? And so he's just like, oh, that like you don't mind that he's bi. And I'm like, bi what? And he's like, I mean, I literally didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
understand it. And he's like, oh, you know, like that he's like bisexual, and like, you know, and really the only complaint that he has is that you have a really sensitive gag reflex. I'm just like, and he's just like, oh, you see, like I can, and he literally says to me, he's like, I can deep throat a banana, and takes a banana and
God.
and I'm like, and like stem out, like it's like with the stem, and I'm just like, I think you're gonna choke to death. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And he like pulls it back out, and I'm just like saying, like, I can never compete with that. Like if I brush my teeth too far in the back, I'm gagging. Like,
So it's not so much that you mind that he was bi. It was more like you're like, I'm never gonna be able to do it. Like like that. Like I'm not gonna be able to take that like that.
oh, like that is like, but also that the whole bi thing. It's just like, well, why can he have an extra dick and I can't? But like,
Oh yeah, I don't. That's like not. I hate it when I hear that. Like when I hear like people like, oh, so you have when bisexual, like they meet someone bisexual, so you have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It's like, no, that's poly. That's not bisexual. Like you don't get one of each. That's not how. If you're in a monogamous relationship, you're in a monogamous relationship. It's not about. You know,
Yeah.
I actually I went to my friend Jamie's wedding, and And she's a woman. She's married a man, and they it was the first gay wedding I was at, the LGBT wedding I ever went to, but it happened to look from the outside like a heterosexual wedding, but they're both bisexual, so it's technically a gay wedding. They just happen to wind up with the opposite sex, but it doesn't mean that like they each get somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how, that's poly. That's not that's not bisexual. So
Yeah.
people really need to stop utilizing that as an excuse to be cheating.
Yeah. It's just like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Be honest. Just be honest about what's going on in your relationship.
Yeah. And then it turned out that he was cheating on the girl that he had taken back home that weekend as well. That weekend that I found out that he was bi. So it was a big thing.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot
It was a lot to unpack at 18.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I barely know what I am. I gotta.
It was like,
deal
how am
with it.
I going to figure out who the fuck you are?
Yeah, that's a lot.
And his answer was in trying to propose.
Just throw a ring at it.
It's like, put a ring on it. Everything will be fine.
It's like, I don't really like you, but I just got these spare rings in the back here. I'm just giving them out to women I want to keep around.
Yeah.
Pass them around.
Well, he was like a trust fund baby. So,
Oh my
like,
God.
that's like what he was accustomed to.
I would love to be like talked about behind my back and be called a trust fund baby. That'd be amazing. I would be so okay with everyone in my life talking shit about me. If it was like, oh, they're so spoiled with all their money. Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like,
Yeah. No, it's like grandpa like invented the microwave oven.
oh wow. Oh, that's money. Yeah, that's money right there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. But thank him for that invention, please.
Yeah.
It
It was like, so his parents were like offering to like put me through like law school and finish paying for like undergraduate if I stayed with him. Like, that's the kind of.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would have stayed with him just long enough. Like, I'll sell out for a couple of years. I don't care. Like, you're gonna pay for that? All right.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've been in relationships for less than that. I like to say I've done more for less.
Oh my God. I'm like, so like, I'm not. It's like literally, if you aggravate me more than 10 minutes and 24 hours, I'm done. Like, it's like, I will
That's right.
literally break up with your ass if you're shaking your Snapple bottle too much. It's just like, no, you know something? That's really annoying. Life is too short.
See, I'm very I'm easy to date, I think, because I'm very okay with criticism. Like, I will, like, if I'm annoying someone, they're like, "Hey, you're annoying the shit out of me. Like, can you go for a walk?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I can see that. I'll go for a walk." Like, I'm very self-aware. Like, I'll get on my own nerves sometimes. I'm like, if I could take a walk away from myself, I would. So I understand why you're asking me to do this.
Like, I would never tell somebody that.
It-
I would just break up with them. Because
and
it's
you
like,
think that's better?
because it's like, to me, it's like, why should I keep somebody from them being themselves? Like, I just don't need you around me. Like, but you do you, and I'll be over here doing me.
You shake that Snapple bottle, but just,
Just
across
do
the
that
street.
shit with somebody else. Like,
Like, he was a really nice guy, but he just kept on shaking.
Shaking that- I was like senior year, and I was dating this guy, and he was like the captain of the basketball team of the boys' school. And I mean, he was cute. He was like 6'7". Like,
Oh,
everybody
wow.
thought he was gonna like go pro or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, we were on our 4th date, and he literally would shake his Snapple bottle 6 times on the top and 6 times on the bottom, and then he'd had to pound the top of the cap like 5 times before he'd open it. And I noticed it the first time, the first date, and I'm like, well, maybe he's just nervous.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
the second date, I was just like, oh, he's doing this again. The third date, I was like, let me make sure we go nowhere that there's Snapple. And then the 4th date, he brought a Snapple. And I'm like, yo, I'm trying to avoid the Snapple situation.
And you're bringing
And you're bringing a Snapple. I can't live like this. Like,
I thought people have left me for bad reasons, and this This is making me feel really good about myself. Like, at least no one's left me for like the way I shake my Snapple.
It's like, sorry, bro, I can't.
I can't.
It's too much.
You expect
It's
me to
too
live like
much.
this? This is
It's-
horrendous.
It's like you're shaking the Snapple like all crazy. Like, no.
But you know what though? You might have avoided because like if he's counting like that at that age and like no one like put him in therapy, like he's counting how many times he locks the door. He's doing OCD
he's
shit.
got the fucking fork P touch on the draw, and if the fork is facing in the wrong direction, he's gonna want to rip shit up. And it's like, I'm not that girl. I'm like it's an empty space knife.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like I'm not that.
Yeah, he would definitely be. Yeah, if he's
Like-
shaking it like that, it's gonna be intense.
Like the math ex, he would like get up in the middle of the night to make sure that he put the sheath on his like culinary cutting knives.
I hate people.
And it's just like I would like wake up to him getting back in bed, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just needed to make sure that I put the cover on my cutting knife. And I'm just like,
Was there children running around? Just
No.
looking for knives and sharp objects? Like what?
do I look like I'm around children? No.
Maybe
there
you
was
were like, I'll
nothing. He
date
was
you if
10
you
years-
keep your kids on the first floor and I could be on the second, you know. things
That's
like
why
that.
you date younger, because I don't have any kids.
You just keep the kid in the closet. You know, I like that.
It's like, keep them in your scrotum. Like,
They have a home already.
I already have a home. It's nice and toasty. Just like my eggs have a home. And once a
Oh.
month, one goes rogue. It's like Russian roulette in your pussy.
one goes rogue. Oh, the human body's so disgusting.
Oh, it is so nasty.
So
It's like so
disgusting.
nasty. But we should be wrapping this up. Before we go though, just tell everybody where can they follow you on social media. What projects do you have working on?
Yeah, I know that between this episode and the last, we were talking a lot about the Me Too movement. So the horror movie Guys at Parties Like It deals with the Me Too movement, and you get to watch a lot of frat boys get the karma they deserve, and I'm really excited about that. So just look up at Guys at Parties Like It, and you'll find us on all social media.
Just think about all the retribution you want for Kavanaugh. It's
Yeah.
in film.
We actually changed one of the there's two cop characters, and we made one Officer Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for shits
Shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't he doesn't believe the women that are like saying like, hey, these frat boys are getting too rowdy in here, and he's just essentially like, oh no, like they're just boys being boys, and then he goes back to the cop car, and then murders ensue. So it's more of believe women. So Guys at Parties Like It definitely pays tribute to that piece of shit Kavanaugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Follow us on Twitter at the Blamestorm. Follow me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. If you like the show, if you enjoy it, please leave us a review and a rating on iTunes, Google, all of the platforms. And I don't know, you guys. I'm pretty anxious to see if Roger Stone boos up with Manafort in jail. Have a good night. Bye-bye.